Hi folks, this is Alias Jopes coming at you with some Divinity Original Sin gameplay. Now, I don't play a bunch of RPGs, but this is just one of those rare gems that I just can't help but show off, especially when it comes to the combat, which we're about to see right away. So right off the bat, you'll notice that it's a turn-based combat system. That means that each of your characters, and your enemy's characters, in this case the computer, have a limited amount of action points to spend before their turn's up when engaged in combat. So the first person to attack was the giant orc that you just saw. He shot an exploding arrow at me, and now two of my guys are on fire. Of course, I had to return the favor by knocking out one of his archers with one of the many special abilities I have in my arsenal. That one is called the Crushing Fist. And now one of his guys is laying helplessly, if I can talk, on the ground. He's not dead, he's just out for a few turns. In fact, he actually looks like he's a little too comfortable laying there. It kind of looks like it could be me after a few shots of tequila. Now, one of the big things about this game that differentiates itself from other RPGs are the environmental, or I should say elemental effects, which shape the course of the combat. You'll notice earlier that I shot open an oil barrel, and it sort of like oil got splattered all over the place. Some of it even touching a couple of the orcs. And now I just used my wizard to cast a spell called Midnight Oil to further increase the oil spillage. And what happens when you set the oil on fire? Well, everyone in it gets lit up. This plays a huge part in the tactical aspect of combat, and we aren't just talking about oil and fire. There's rain, ice, electricity, poison, smoke. Basically, you have all of the four basic elements of nature at your disposal: earth, water, air, and fire. And all of the chemical reactions you get when you mix those elements up, that's what makes this game so much more tactical, and in turn so much more fun than almost any other RPG out there. So getting back to what's going on screen, notice that the orcs quickly scrambled themselves out into flames. If they hadn't moved out of there, they would have continued to lose health. So therefore, by moving, I sort of forced them to waste action points. Remember, I talked about action points earlier. Everything you do costs action points, including movement. So they had to waste a part of their turn just trying to get to safety. And you see, they did not even have enough action points to attack me on that particular turn because it's already my turn and I just healed one of my guys. You do have to be careful about healing though. There is a cooldown period for casting a healing spell. So for example, for my knight, it's like a 5 or 6 turn cooldown, which is a lot. So you can't just spam it every turn. I just shot an exploding arrow at someone. Like, think about how fun that is. That was super entertaining. Exploding arrows, orcs running around on fire. I mean, do you really need additional evidence that this game is incredible? Come on. So you're starting to see more of those elemental effects I talked about earlier. I shot the sort of the leader orc with a freezing arrow, and now he didn't freeze because it's not always guaranteed, but you see the puddle of water underneath him froze. Which means that if anyone walked across that sheet of ice, there is a chance that they might fall and lose their turn. These are all of the tactical options that you have in combat, and that's really what they are options. It's not, this is how you have to play to get through the situation. It's, these are the options you have, and you do whatever suits your personality or playstyle. So getting back to what's happening on screen, my strategy here is really to fight the orcs at a distance. I have more powerful magic and ranged units than they do, but they have more numbers and brute force than me. I mean, they're orcs, right? And they are slowly breaking through my defenses at a terrible cost to them, but nevertheless, one of their guys is pretty much, you know, in my face, and there's a couple more sort of closing in. It's not looking, it's looking not terrible, but it could turn terrible potentially pretty soon. But I have an idea. See? So that was brilliant. You see what I did there? I don't often refer to myself as brilliant, by the way, but this was brilliant. You understand what I'm saying? I used my archer to shoot open an oil barrel with a regular arrow, not even a flame arrow. The oil spilled into the proximity of fire that was already there, and it also caught on fire. Now the orcs can't come across. I mean, they can't, unless they want to walk across and show up with like 2 health into my knight. Yeah, sure, be my guest. That's like a guaranteed death. I guess I suppose they can still move to the right and risk slipping on that giant sheet of ice that's waiting for them. That's almost as bad as fire, I think. But, I mean, yeah, I think this battle is going overwhelmingly in my favor now. I can keep poking them at a distance, and they really can't do that much to me except for maybe, like, walk all the way around. Ouch. Ouch. He did a little bit of damage to my archer, but it's really no big deal. His death is imminent. Look at these guys. They don't even know what's happening. Watch this. Damn! His body turned into a pile of ash. Yeah, so my knight has an axe with magical properties. It has a chance to stun enemies, so I guess that's electricity. So that's why that happened. So one thing that is sort of might be confusing right now is that my archer can't target some of these guys. And the reason for that is because the flames are creating a smoke cloud so that she basically can't see her targets. There are things that can get rid of smoke clouds, but they also happen to put out the fires underneath as well, so I'd rather not do that at this point in time. My wizards, on the other hand, can still target anyone. So that's what I'm doing right now. Oh, this guy's about to go down. Damn, dude, that's so fucking cool. Oh my god, I could watch that like 100 times. Whoa, what the hell is he doing back there? He's just chilling back there. The mage is just, he's totally out of it. He doesn't know what's going on. Okay, here comes the big dude. He's not nearly as scary anymore because he doesn't have his entire posse with him. Oh, this is cool. So, the knight has an ability called Battering Ram. Wait, that was a super underwhelming display of Battering Ram. But basically, what's supposed to happen, or what he does is he charges at an enemy at a ridiculous speed, which does damage and has a chance to knock them down. Which, in this case, it didn't. But most times it does. Think like Mass Effect Vanguard, right? And like, basically that's what that move is. And see, at this point, you know, it's like not even fair. It's basically 4-on-1 because the orcs are all scattered all over the place, and I'm just gonna be wailing on this guy. Like, he's not about to have a good time right now, and it's, you know, it's his fault because he picked the wrong guy to pick a fight with. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna get shot to hell with arrows and lightning and hit with axes and covered in oil and probably burned alive. And that's gonna be his fault. Okay, so he may have a couple of new tricks up his sleeve, but even that's not really gonna do much. A couple of my guys are immune to fear. Like, he got one of my guys, but it's okay. So one guy lost a turn. Watch this. Hasta la vista, baby. Okay, that was probably the worst way anybody could have said that phrase. But anyway, that's generally what the combat looks like in Divinity Original Sin. I think it is spectacular so far, and this is still very, very early in the game. In fact, we've really just scratched the surface at this point in terms of gameplay. The rest of it will just be me kind of mopping up what's left over of the orcs. I will stop talking now and let you enjoy the rest of the video. Again, this is Alias Jokes, and I'll see y'all next time.